right, thanks for joining again. We are going to make a profound statement. It just came to me last night, and I had these afterthoughts. I thought maybe we were breaking too hard on this whole thing about 7-year pre-tribulation, dispensational, rapture, cultism. But the unction came in and it basically said, no, you're not. And we're going to read a statement. It's more of a question. And this question really has to do with my life, believe it or not. Not that we're anybody important. We're not. I'm not important or anything like that. But I'm just saying, it's been the conduct and the flow, the ebb and the flow, way to look at it for my whole entire life. And let me find the statement. Got to have my cup of Joe first. That's nasty stuff. I love it. And here it is. It's a simplified, matter of fact, it's kind of a disclaimer proviso, if you understand those two terms. It means something that we need to be aware of, that you see. They're legal terms when you talk about a proviso or a caveat or disclaimer, things of that nature. They're kind of subtle warnings, but they're couched, in this case scenario, it's couched in a question format that also makes a statement. So here we go. And it's simple. And I'm going to start putting them on each and every video that we do so that people understand and the distinction is made for what's really at stake. And by the way, I wanted to throw this kudos out to dear sister. And she brings up the whole notion of the Ouroboros, which is very cultic, very evil, and very insidious, because it shows the whole caricature of an Ouroboros is a snake in a circle eating its own tail. That is what you call a symbol, an occultic dark symbol. And we won't go, we could talk for a long time on that one subject itself and how all its tentacles kind of reach out as well. But for the purpose of the Ouroboros, we'll get it, is that it's eating its own tail. And what that signifies is it eats its own. And that is why, as these people out there, you think, because you're putting it through the lens, the prism of an average Christian, because you want to do good, you want to, spread the love and the respect and this and that, and have people grow and live and let live and do unto your neighbors you want done unto yourself, and all those things, which will never change anyway. But for some people out there, especially the globalist, elitists, and all of these people, the adepts, they consider us the profane. They consider themselves the adepts, that they're adept, that they have secret, hidden knowledge. So they represent that knowledge. This is their own way of twisted thinking. Modus operandi is they reflect it in symbology. Okay, matter of fact, there was a Tom Hanks movie, the something treasure, that he was a symbologist, I think was the correct term. And the movie delved into a lot of those aspects. But with the Ouroboros, yay, it's eating its own tail. For it, people can go by the wayside, because it's all the supremacy, man worshiping themselves as their own God. This also has tentacles to the New Age movement, and it has tentacles to Aleister Crowley. You have to know Aleister Crowley. He was worshipped, still is being worshipped by the Beatles, what's left of them, and or their fandom base, and Led Zeppelin, and also Ozzy Osbourne, just to name a few. We're not going to get into that, but the idea, to develop the idea here a little bit further on the Ouroboros, is that these people will eat their own, and death for them is no problem. It's all part of the economy, their economy. It represents, and especially Baal or Baal worship with the abortions. Oh yeah. See, some people think they have freedom of choice. They don't have freedom of choice. They have a momentary space and time where they can kill, and then they get power from that. And then you can talk about a lot of the entertainers where they go out there and they do these satanic rituals where it's called soul scalping. And all of these things. This is part and parcel, very large makeup, and I thank you, sister, for bringing that up, of the beast. And the woman that rides the beast is the religious counterpart who has given away her birthrights. Yeah, we can go there. We can back that up. Oh yeah. That we're enjoined to come out of. And you hear us say this all the time. Revelation 18:4. Come out of her, my people, be not partakers of her sins, nor receive of her plagues. My nose itches. There we go. I'm not very polished. And I don't polish my nails either, so, as you can well see. Just thought I'd bring that out. Why I did, I have no idea. But I know what's being communicated. And see, these are the things that are being communicated on a very large scale across the world to the adepts. This is how they communicate. This is how they make their bones, which is an apropos statement, because they're part and parcel of that valley of dry bones as well that the woman rides, because that woman has been refactored. The lamb with the two horns in Revelation chapter 13 that rises up out of the earth, the beast, looking like a lamb with the two horns. Oh yeah. So a lot of these things, they play into that. Now, where we come into view, and the linkage, the parallel, the correlation is that we bring out a lot of the not so good stuff that does not equal the truth. It does not equal the thesis. We are keeping our hot hot and our cold cold, so that we don't have the output of that, which is the not so good lukewarm. We are keeping the thesis as the thesis. We are disregarding and eschewing the anti in place of, or disregarding the finished work of Jesus Christ on the cross, antithesis, which amalgamates into the synthesis. Now, where this comes into play with the statement that we're going to read to you is that there are very many, and this is the question I've been asking basically all my life, because there's what you call a dichotomy involved. You have two ends of the spectrum that we want to clarify. Let's read the statement. Without further ado, let's read that statement right now, couched in the form of a question. It's, how can you be sincere? This is what I grew up with. I grew up with sincerity. I grew up very amidst the staunch realism of the Roman Catholic Church, the staunch belief system of the Roman Catholic Church. So it applies across the board. It applies to 7-year dispensational pre-tribulation theory of the idol worship of the word soon. Soonism is what they worship. That is their idol. For example, how can you be sincere, loving, and true, or right, synonymous with right, with bad doctrine? Again, how can you be sincere, loving, and true with bad doctrine? How can you be loving, sincere, and true with bad doctrine? How? The answer is you can't. That's the problem, because there are, to develop that question, the message that it's wanting to get at is that there are people, they are 100% sincere. They are 100% loving. They think that they pertain to 100% of the truth. The problem is they pertain to bad doctrine. They pertain to bad doctrine. They pertain to bad doctrine. So now what do you do with that? We'll leave you with this thought. What do you do with that? Here's what you do and what you don't do with that. Here's what you do. You keep your hot hot, and you keep your cold cold. That's what you do. Even though you look like the bad guy, even though nobody wants to hear that they have spiritual bad stuff that does not line up with the truth. And the kicker is, that's maybe not a good way to put it, but the kicker is, the Lord, when he lets people into his kingdom, or doesn't let people into his kingdom, he said, depart from me. There's two responses that he gives. Depart from me, you workers of iniquity, and or depart from me, I never knew you. I never knew ye from whence ye are. In other words, he doesn't know that position. No matter how sincere they were, no matter how loving they were, no matter how many miracles that they did, no matter how 100% that they thought they were true in their convictions. Because if it doesn't line up with the Word of God, the demonstrable preponderance of the Word of God, because I grew up with this stuff. I know all the arguments. Well, it's all how you interpret it. Well, it doesn't mean that to me. If that's what you're going with, your mileage is going to vary. You may not get to your destination, is what that is saying. We'll leave you with that thought. If you're remnant out there, please stay remnant. Thank you for the comments to everybody. And I really do love you guys. You keep me going. Thank you. Thank you. I love you guys. We'll talk soon.